Hi guys, Robbo46 here, welcome yourselves back to MotoGP 20 on the Xbox One X. Today we're going to be talking through the weekend races at Misano for MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3. So I will be doing a full race distance race in this one. So we'll be doing the full 27 laps. And yeah, we'll see how we get on with the actual race, but we're just going to be talking about the actual race in itself in real life. We're using Frankie Morbidelli. There is a reason for that, if you've seen the racing already, and obviously you know, but yeah, we're going to start with Moto3. So Moto3 was a fantastic race as always. Moto3, I say it every time, but it really does set the day up. Although we did have Moto E as well, actually, to be fair, and that was a pretty good start to the races as well. But yeah, Moto3 was a proper dogfight, and it really opened up the championship as well, because championship leader Albert Arenas ended up crashing out. So he DNF'd. So not a good round for him. Obviously, he's had some issues this season already. He's won a load of races this season. He's also picked up an injury as well, which he pretty much recovered from for this race. But unfortunately for him, he did go down and didn't end up finishing the race. But the main talking point is John McPhee, who put on a blinder of a show and pretty much timed it perfectly to hit the front towards the end of the race, and managed to hold his own on the final lap and go on to take victory. Fantastic race for John, fantastic result for John. He's had a bit of bad luck this season as well. He's had a couple of crashes as well, which obviously hasn't helped. But that win is definitely put him back into the championship contention. So yeah, he done a fantastic job. He only just pipped Ogura for the lead, because Ogura had a bit of a rear end slide through the last couple of corners, which kind of let John have a little bit of a lead. But I think McPhee started celebrating just a tad too early, and that allowed Ogura just to close in a fraction. I mean, McPhee won the race by 300ths of a second. But yeah, luckily he did still take the victory. If he'd lost it there, then I think he would have been pretty gutted, because he did pretty much time it perfectly. But yeah, he did take the overall win from Ogura in second. So those are two of the riders that are in the title fight at the moment. Suzuki came home in third, and then you had Alcoba in fourth, Rodrigo in fifth. Pretty good showing for Rodrigo. Arbolino was sixth. Messia came home in seventh. Finati in eighth. Foggia in ninth. Then you had Mino 10th, Antonelli in 11th. Antonelli, who is a thorn in my team's side in the junior Moto3 team in this game. Yamanaka was 12th, Riccardo Rossi 13th, Nepa in 14th, Carlos Tate 15th, Dennis Onchu in 16th, Toba 17th, and then we go on to Pizzoli in 18th, Dupas Squire in 19th, Salach in 20th, Powie 21st, Koffler 22nd, Cooney in 23rd, Barry Boltus in 24th, Sergio Garcia in 25th. And then, yeah, the rest of them were DNFs. Obviously, I've mentioned Albert Arenas, he DNF'd. Darren Binder, he crashed out as well. Sasaki crashed out. Lopez, Fernandez, and Vietti all DNF'd in that race. So for the actual championship standings though, so Albert Arenas still leads the championship. He's on 106 points. 5 points behind now on 101 points is Ogura, who finished second at Misano. And John McPhee has moved up. Well, he's still in third, but he's closed the gap down to 14 points now. So a really good job from John there to get within less than a whole race win's worth of points to the race leader Albert Arenas. Obviously they're racing at Misano again this coming weekend. So we got another race here. So Arenas will try to reset and go again. And then a bit further down the championship standings, you've got Suzuki, who's moved up to 4th place, Arbolino 5th, Vietti 6th, Rodrigo 7th, Fernandez 8th, Masia 9th. So yeah, that's the top 9 in the championship. And yeah, like I said, Moto 3 is always a cracking race throughout the pretty much any track they go to. And it was a big battle for the leading group for the most part of the race. So it was good to see John McPhee take that victory ultimately. And yeah, just do what he needed to do, because he had been languishing in points. Obviously, like I said, he's had 2 DNFs this season, so not ideal. But yeah, well done to John for getting that victory. Now we're going to go on to Moto 2, and it was a VR46 Sky Racing team kind of affair. Both Luca Marini and Marco Bezzecchi pretty much fighting for most of the race just amongst themselves. They had a bit of a gap over Bastianini for most of the race, but Bastianini did start closing them back down. But yeah, those two had a good old fight until Bezzecchi made a little bit of a mistake, and Marini managed to go on to take the victory. So yeah, Marini took the win from Marco Bezzecchi in second. And I am pleased to announce that once they were celebrating on the cooldown lap, they actually stopped and congratulated each other rather than what they'd done at Jerez when they tried congratulating each other whilst moving, and they both ended up crashing, which was a little bit embarrassing for them. But luckily they done that after the flag had gone down as opposed to during the race. But yeah, they went for the more sensible option of actually stopping completely to congratulate each other. But yeah, like I said, Bastianini, he was closing them down, and yeah, I think he needed Bezzecchi and Marini to fight just a little bit more to be able to take, you know, maybe second or first. But he wasn't that far behind Bezzecchi by the end of it. He was pretty much less than a tenth of a second behind Bezzecchi at the end. But that was the podium, all Italian podium, which obviously the Italians would have loved. With, like I said, Marini won that from Bezzecchi in second, Bastianini in third. Vierge came home in 4th place for the Petronas team. Then we had Fernandez in 5th. Luti came home 6th. Di Giannantonio in 7th. Sam Lowes, he came home in 8th place. Now, at the previous race at the Red Bull Ring, we obviously saw Sam take out 2 riders into turn 3, the hairpin, when he hit a false neutral and couldn't get the bike stopped and just collected 2 riders. He not only was he black flagged in that race, although he did get back up, and then he crashed at pretty much the next corner just as they black flagged him anyway. But they also gave him the penalty of starting from pit lane for this race, and it was a bit of a not necessarily a harsh penalty, because yeah, okay, if a rider does something like that, yeah, make him start from pit lane, but it was a very long wait that Sam had to wait. It took, I think it was something like 12-13 seconds before he was allowed to go, because obviously if you start from pit lane, just like Zarco did as well at the second Red Bull Ring race, you can't go until the very last rider comes through and goes past the pit lane exit. So you had to wait there until that happened. Usually there's a member of staff, a steward there that kind of you know, make sure you're not going when you're not meant to and stuff like that. And obviously they got to go by, there's like a little red light at the end of pit lane, they got to wait for that to go, to give them the green light to go. But yeah, also Sam didn't help himself because he forgot to put the pit lane rev limiter on as well. So he was fiddling with that whilst trying to exit as well. So that cost him a little bit more time. But he had a really good pace, and the fact that he not only started at the back of the grid, but had basically a 12-second penalty as well, and he still managed to finish in 8th, well inside the top 10, and only 16.4 seconds behind Marini, who was the winner. So it was a really good showing from Sam. Showed a lot of maturity and had to do a hell of a lot of overtaking, and done it nice and clean. So really good result for him. Aaron Canet came home in 9th place, so another good result for Canet in his rookie season. Joe Roberts in 10th place, and then we have Lorenzo Baldassari came home in 11th. Baldassari's been a little bit disappointing this season. Was kind of expecting him to be fighting for the title, but we kind of saw his season fall apart last season as well, where he won quite a few races and then just stopped and started having crashes and all sorts and just not really performing. So yeah, he came home in 11th. Then we had Marcos Ramirez in 12th, Lorenzo Dalla Porta in 13th. That's Dalla Porta's first set of championship points in Moto2 as well. He has been struggling adapting to the Moto2 machines, obviously the current Moto3 world champion. So yeah, he came home in 13th. Simone Corsi 14th, and Bulliger ended up taking the final point scoring position in 15th place. He was just ahead of Jake Dixon. He beat Jake by 0.2 of a second. We had Stefano Manzi in 17th place, Chantra in 18th, Ben Schneider in 19th, and Kasma Daniel in 20th. And the DNFs, we had Nagashima, who, after the first round was kind of tipped to be one of the favourites for the title. He's not really, he's had an injury this season as well. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just not going very well for Nagashima at the moment. Siren as well, he had a DNF. So did Marcel Schrotter. Isdaihar as well, and Jesko Raffin had a DNF. So yeah, it's a very interesting season. I mean, Bastianini has gone well the last few races. He's had some really good wins this season as well. But yeah, just missing out on the podium for second place for Bastianini. But yeah, just missing out on that second place. He ended up third. But yeah, the championship, because of that win, Marini is on 112 points. He's extended his lead to 17 points now over Bastianini. So still under a whole race win's worth. Marco Bezzecchi, he's moved up to third in the championship now. He's 27 points behind. This is, of course, Bezzecchi's second season in Moto2. Jorge Martin, who is not there or didn't race this weekend because he's unfortunately got the virus at the moment. So obviously he's had to stay away from the paddock altogether. He'll have another test before the next race to see if he's still got it. If he does, and obviously he's still got to stay away. But yeah, because he wasn't able to race, he's now dropped one position in the championship from 3rd to 4th. Nagashima as well has dropped one position from 4th to 5th. Sam Lowe's is still in 6th position, Vieje in 7th, Aaron Canet in 8th, Joe Roberts in 9th. So that is the top 9 for the championship in Moto2. And now we get on to the big boys. MotoGP. Qualifying. Top 4 slots of qualifying. All Yamahas. All 4 Yamahas were from pole position down to 4th, which was we haven't seen in a very, very long time, if ever. But yeah, it was the Yamahas have been going really well in free practice and qualifying. I mean, Rossi topped FP3 as well, sporting his special Viagra helmet, which did make me laugh. But yeah, the race itself was pretty good. it was great to see Franco Morbidelli finally take a race victory. Obviously his teammate Quartararo has taken quite a bit of limelight away from Morbidelli, and we saw Quartararo take his first ever MotoGP win at the beginning of the season, and now we've seen his teammate Franco Morbidelli take his first ever win here at Misano. But yeah, Morbidelli pretty much led from start to finish. He got into the lead from the start, and Rossi kind of clung on to him for the first few laps. Stayed pace with Morbidelli for a little while. Looked like he was going to overtake him at one point, but didn't quite manage to make it through. And yeah, then Morbidelli just managed to start dropping his lap times and just easing away slightly from Valentino, and lap by lap that was a gap that was just growing and growing until it got over 2 seconds. Morbidelli was just clicking him off. He rode absolutely immaculately and brilliantly, and he definitely deserved the win, because he's he's not had the easiest of times in MotoGP. He's, like I said, the limelight was taken away from him even last season when Quartararo was outperforming him, most races. So it is fantastic to see Morbidelli take his first victory in MotoGP. So we've had 4 new first-time winners in MotoGP this season. Obviously, we've had Quartararo, as we've already spoken about. We've had Brad Binder. We've had Oliveira. And now we've had Franco Morbidelli. So yeah, those 4, they had never won a MotoGP race at all until this season. Brad Binder, it's his first ever season in MotoGP as well. So, as a rookie to win his first race in MotoGP in his rookie season is still, a massive, massive achievement. And yeah, it was just really, really good for Franco. It was really good to see. Pecco Bagnaia, finally, he got his second position, which he should have had back in Jerez, when unfortunately his Ducati decided it wanted to expire, and he had to retire. But yeah, he did manage to hold on to his second place this time. A brilliant ride from him. His front tyre was getting a little bit worn towards the end of the race. I say a little bit worn, very worn towards the end of the race, and he was starting to struggle getting the bike turned in. But he could use that grunt of the Ducati just to keep ahead of the Yamaha and the Suzukis that were behind him. Rossi, like I said, he was in second for most of the race, but towards the end, I think about 10 laps to go, Bagnaia made his move and literally just used the horsepower of that Ducati and managed to just get ahead of Rossi and stay there. Rossi did start reeling him back in towards the end of the race, but he just couldn't get past. He could catch him, especially towards the end of the lap. I mean, this section we're actually on now in this race on the screen. This is where Bagnaia would really pull away from Rossi by about 0.4 of a second. But as soon as they started going into turn 14, Rossi was much stronger on the brakes because Bagnaia's front tyre wasn't in good condition. And by the final corner, Rossi was right behind Bagnaia, but just couldn't get past him because obviously the Yamaha's slowest bikes on the grid. So he couldn't do anything about that. Rins was trying to get past Rossi for quite a bit of the race as well, and getting a little bit frustrated that he couldn't actually make a move stick. He didn't actually manage to ever get past, and then eventually Rins' teammate Mir managed to put a pass on Rins at the end of the penultimate lap and the start of the final lap, and then Mir managed to close the little gap down to Rossi, and he managed to put a nice block pass on Rossi into turn 9 and 10. So yeah, it would be the next couple of corners on the screen. So yeah, turns 9 and 10. He shoved up the inside, done a nice block pass, and because the Suzuki is a little bit quicker than the Yamaha, Rossi couldn't do anything about it. So Yeah, top 3 was Morbidelli, Bagnaia and Mir. That was the podium. So yeah, like I said, it was good to see Bagnaia get his podium. Good to see Morbidelli get his win. Good to see Mir get a podium as well. Obviously, he was robbed of a victory at the Red Bull Ring. But, you know, the red flag happened for a reason, so he couldn't go on to win that race. Rossi came home in 4th. Rossi has gone on record saying now that it feels like he's been breeding some snakes, and they've come back to bite him. And he actually said, who the hell's idea was it to set up the academy? Because obviously now he's been, well, in this race he was beaten by 2 of his academy riders, Morbidelli and Bagnaia. But yeah, it's good to see that that academy is working. It is producing race winners. We've seen it's already produced championship winners as well, both with Morbidelli and Bagnaia, obviously both winning the Moto2 World Championship, and podium contenders and race winners now. So fantastic to see that. Alex Rins, he came home in 5th place. He actually started dropping back from the second group of Bagnaia, Mir and Rossi towards the end of the race. I think Mir had used up his tyres. There's a few of them that went for the softer compounded tyres, and it just, you could see that they were visibly wearing out towards the end of the race, and they were struggling to keep their pace. Maverick Vinales, another disappointing race for him in 6th position. It's not very often that he's the last of the finishing Yamahas. I say finishing Yamahas because one of them didn't finish. Andrea Dovizioso, again, another disappointing result for Dovi. I mean, there's proof there that the Ducati does work around Misano, with Bagnaia taking 2nd place. But yeah, Dovi just, I do think he's gone into retirement mode, even though that 7th place was enough to make him go into the lead of the championship. I just think he's gone into retirement mode. I mean, there is a lot of speculation about where he's going to be going next season, or if he's going to go anywhere, because obviously there is the possibility of Aprilia, but it's looking very, very more and more likely that it's going to be Cal Crutchlow who ends up going to Aprilia. There's also a rumour going around that Dovizioso could go to Petronas Yamaha in 2021 or 2022, but the boss of Petronas Yamaha has said that that's rubbish, that isn't happening. But they still haven't, you know, them and Rossi still haven't signed a deal yet, and kind of expecting it to happen at Misano, with it being Rossi's home race, but still nothing there. So yeah, I think Dovizioso will just fully retire. Whether he goes into a testing role, I don't know. That would be obviously entirely up to him. But I don't think, even if he... Originally he said he might be taking a year out, but like I've said previously, if he does that, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to actually then come back into the paddock, having not raced for a whole year. And, you know, it'll be hard enough him just trying to find a decent ride for 2022. So I think Dovizioso is just going to fully retire, which is a shame, but maybe he just thinks he's done as good as he can do, and it is what it is. But yeah, so he came home in 7th place. Jack Miller, who was fighting towards the front at the start of the race, but his tyres started going off, and he dropped down to 8th place and finished in 8th. Nakagami, he ended up in 9th place. He was the top Honda again. But yeah, Honda are so screwed without Marquez at the moment. Now the KTMs didn't fare too well around Misano. Top KTM was Pol Espargaro in 10th place. Then we had the previous race winner at Red Bull Ring, Miguel Oliveira, ended up in 11th place. And then you had Brad Binder in 12th place. So you had 3 KTMs very, very close together. In fact, they were, all 3 of them were 0.4, covered by 0.4 of a second. So that just goes to show how close together they were. In fact, it would have been 10th, well, all the KTMs in a block of 4, but they were separated by Alicia Spargo in 13th, and then Ika Lecuona, he ended up in 14th. I think Lecuona would have got a better result, but he had to do the long lap penalty, so that obviously put him back a bit. But yeah, the Aprilias, what can you say? Saying that, during free practice, they weren't actually too bad. FP1 and FP2, they were pretty quick, but yeah, it's just not working. That project is not working. Zarco, he ended up in 15th place, so not really a good result for Zarco. Even worse, so Danilo Petrucci, 16th place on a factory Ducati. 16th place is not good. Again, maybe a little bit like Dovizioso. Petrucci's kind of not gone into retirement mode, but obviously he's already signed for Tech 3 KTM for next season. So maybe he's just thinking about that. 17th place was the first of the Repsol Hondas. Alex Marquez, 17th place. Then you had Stefan Bradl, 18th place on the other Repsol Honda. And Bradley Smith in 19th place. And then you had 2 DNFs, Tito Rabat, and as I said about a missing Yamaha, the then championship leader Fabio Quartararo not only had 1 crash, he had 2. So he had a crash maybe about a quarter of the way through the race. He ended up losing the front, and took a little while to get back on the bike. Then he went back into the pit and kind of thought that he was just going to retire from the race, and that'll be him done. The team then sent him back out, which I can kind of understand, but then again kind of not. Obviously Yamaha have got engine troubles at the moment, so you would kind of think, well, if he's crashed, he's not going to score any points, let's just save mileage on the engine and the other components on the bike. They decided to send him back out. Again, I can kind of understand this as well, obviously to get more data ready for the next race, which is again here this coming weekend. So fair enough, they want to get extra data, maybe test some things out ready for the next race. Unfortunately, it appeared that they didn't put a tyre warmer on Quartararo's front tyre, and within a couple of corners he ended up losing the front from a cold tyre, so he ended up crashing a second time. That time he decided to call it a day. But yeah, I think it was coming through turn 6, which is this corner here. He tipped in and the front just completely washed without any warning, and that was it. Down he went for a second time. So yeah, he didn't get back on after that. Went back to the garage and called it a day. So not really a great result for Quartararo, who, at the moment is, or was the main championship favourite. But it's been such a very weird season this season. It's unpredictable. It is so unpredictable this season. It's just crazy. There's only one rider that has won, 2 races, and that's Quartararo when he won the 2, race 1 and race 2 at Jerez. All the other races have been completely different riders that have actually won the races, and it's just every race just a different rider comes to the front. It's really good to see. It's good to see, you know, so many people just taking the opportunity, because the opportunities are there, but no one is taking a hold of the championship itself and trying to make it their own. It's not like, say, last season, you know, Marquez dominated the championship. He only had one DNF, and all the other races he finished either first or second. We're not getting a season like that. We're not getting one standout rider that is, you know, taking it to everyone and winning most of the races. We're not getting that. We're not even getting that many consistent podium finishes either. It's a it is a bizarre season, but it's fantastic to watch and very intriguing, because honestly, I haven't got a clue who's going to win the championship, and I don't think anyone does. It could literally be any number of riders at the moment, and you know, people might think from one race before the next, you know, oh, maybe this rider's, you know, he's clicked with it now, and now he's going to be a real title contender, and then you come to the next race and he's you know, midfield, and someone different has come to the front and won a race. It's just one of those seasons where no idea who's going to win it. It could well and truly go down to the final race of the season, and there could be a handful of riders that could win the championship, and it's just going to be so bizarre to watch that, you know, a good select few of riders all go for the championship and all have an equal opportunity and chance of actually winning it. It's not going to be one of those seasons where, you know, like Marquez has got it wrapped up with 3 or 4 races to go. It's not going to happen like that, because no one is, you know, consistently winning. It's just one of them, you know. We go to one track, the Yamahas don't work, the Ducatis work. Go to the next track, the Ducatis don't work, the KTMs work. The Yamaha's still struggling. Then they come here, the Yamahas are working, the Ducatis are struggling, the KTMs are struggling. Suzuki seems to be, you know, maybe the more slightly consistent package at the moment. But again, it's just someone needs to take the opportunity by the horns and just try to go with it and try to actually win the championship. It's not happening like that at the moment. It's just going to be a crazy season. It's, you know, one of the best seasons so far that I've watched in a very long time, just because it is so unpredictable. It's not like, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago where you had the Aliens, where it was literally 4 riders. That was it. The only 4 riders that were even capable of winning a race. You know, everyone else, not a chance. But now it's literally, can be anyone. Can literally be anyone. So this championship is going to throw up a hell of a lot more surprises. And the thing is as well, yeah, they're coming back to Misano next time out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get the same podium. We might get a completely different set of riders. Take a Red Bull Ring for example. Dovizioso won the first race there, but second race he wasn't even on the podium. So, you know, some riders definitely benefit more from having 2 races at the same track. You know, especially the likes of the rookies, like Binder, Marquez and Lecuona. But, you know, the regular riders, although they've got the extra data, it doesn't seem to be that kind of consistent showing that we have from them, or that we've had from them in the past. So who knows who's going to win the second race at Misano? It could literally be anyone. You know, it's he who dares wins, basically. But yeah, this time it was Franco Morbidelli who did take the victory. But like I said, with Dovizioso finishing down in 7th position, because Quartararo has crashed out and scored no points, Dovizioso now leads the championship by 6 points. Even though Dovizioso hasn't won a race, he has finished every race in the points so far. And yeah, so he leads the race, the championship on 76 points. 6 points behind him now is Quartararo, which is literally nothing. Then you've got Jack Miller still in third. He's 12 points behind. You've got Mir, who's moved up 4 positions in the championship from 8th to 4th. He's only 16 points behind. Then you've got the Monster Energy Yamaha duo of Viñales and Rossi in 5th and 6th. They're both on 58 points, so they're both joint on points, only 18 points behind. Then you've got Morbidelli in 7th. He's moved up 4 positions. He's only 1 more point behind in the championship than Rossi is. He's on 19 points behind. Then you've got Brad Binder. He's dropped 4 positions from 4th to 8th. He's only 23 points behind. And Nakagami as well. He's dropped 3 positions. He's only 23 points behind. So you've got 9 riders all within a whole race win's worth of points in the championship. So, you know, next race, if a few of them end up having bad results or Dovi DNFs, Nakagami wins the race, you could well see Nakagami go to the top of the championship. It's just one of those championships where who knows what's going to happen. But the fact that we've got that many riders that close together at this stage in the championship, we don't get it like this, you know, ever. So top 9 all within 23 points of each other, which obviously, like I said, under a whole race win's worth of points, 25 points for a win. So it's not done with. It's not going to be done with until the final race at Portimao. And yeah, it really is a crazy, bizarre season. But like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing how that actually pans out. Who's my money on for the next race? No idea. No idea. It's one of them. Literally, you know, because the riders that maybe something was wrong with their setup or something, they'll obviously be able to try something different and see if that helps. So you might have the likes of Viñales maybe being able to improve. You've got other riders as well who might try something different, even though their setup worked for the first race, and then that might not necessarily work. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm actually going to put a name down and say who I think is going to win the next race at Misano. I'm actually going to go for Bagnaia. And, you know, Bagnaia got his first ever podium at the weekend. Obviously, like I said, it should have been a second place at Jerez, when unfortunately his bike let go. He's the only one who has managed to make that Ducati work around Misano. And Bagnaia is definitely getting better and quicker and more consistent. Last season was a little bit disappointing from him, despite the fact that he was going really well in the pre-season testing in 2019. But when it came to the races, he had quite a lot of crashes, so didn't score a hell of a lot of points. But this season, he's definitely been improving his confidence. Obviously, he's still slightly injured from that leg break he suffered a few races ago. But yeah, his first race back after being injured, and he goes and sticks it on the podium. It's just an absolutely amazing job. But yeah, I'm going to go for Bagnaia for Misano too. I'll probably be completely wrong. It'll probably be someone, like I said, like Nakagami or something, who ends up winning. It's unpredictable, that's all I can say. Literally no idea at all who is actually going to win the race. You know, maybe Morbidelli will end up doing the double and kind of follow what his teammate done at Jerez. So we'll have to wait and see on Sunday. You know, qualifying might be all upside down again as well, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's definitely been a good weekend for the Petronas team, as we saw John McPhee win in Moto 3. Vierge in Moto2 just missing out on the podium in 4th position. Then we saw Franco Morbidelli take his first ever win in MotoGP. Obviously they would have been a bit unhappy with Quartararo crashing out of the race, but it's one of those things, you know. They're all fighting for the championship now, and any one of 9 can definitely win the championship at the moment. So, like I said at the beginning of the season, it's not necessarily going to be the rider who wins the most races that wins the championship this season. It might just be the one that plugs away throughout the whole season and just finishes consistently every race. That's why Dovizioso's leading the championship. He's won 1 race, that's it. But he's scored points in every race. Hence why he is leading the championship. Only by 6 points, but you know, points mean prizes. So I think, you know, riders need to maybe some of them need a slightly different approach rather than trying to win the race every race and either crashing or making a mistake or something. To try and be more consistent, but you know, they're racers. They're out there to win races and ultimately try and win the championship as well. So yeah, it could be anyone. It's just one of those. Like I said, it's just so unpredictable. I've said that about 50 million times in this video now, but that's what it is. So I am saying Bagnaia for Misano too. Let me know down in the comments who you think's going to win the second race at Misano this coming weekend. But yeah, big congratulations to Franco Morbidelli for taking his first ever win. Congratulations to Bagnaia for taking his first ever podium. And obviously congratulations for Joan Mir for getting a 3rd position on the podium. So yeah, that is it from me, guys. I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I shall see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to stay safe and to wash your hands. See you.